So if you get the weekly thing, or if you get from your region, if you get region mail, it's always in that too, the weekly or bi-weekly thing. And I do recommend it. It's nice. It's a great learning experience. It's a relatively short period of time, and they also do Misha Berach. We sing that for all the people that we all know that are not well for whatever reason. And they also have a Kaddish list and do Mourner's Kaddish at the end, so that people that either aren't in shul or whatever can do the Kaddish. So I recommend it. I think it's a worthwhile use of your time and my time. Or I wouldn't do it. And Andrea has been on a number of times, and she seconds my motion. Okay.
I did. Yeah, I do.
Anyway, okay. So any other comments, questions, criticisms? No. Okay. Then we will go to the Amidah. We've been going, we'll start out with on page, Lem Shalom, it's on page 156, and Lev Shalem, it's 185, and the textbook, it's page 54. If you need me to repeat any of those, let me know.
Yes, repeat it.
Okay. For Shalom, it's 156. Lev Shalem, the red book, it's 185. And page 54 in the textbook.
Thank you.
This is this one, but just because we've been going towards the end of the service, we'll do this first. This is the Musaf Amidah. This is the additional service that we do on Shabbat and holidays. We will have an Amidah also in Shacharit, which is the morning service. And we will go, I'm going to mute everybody. And I figure out how to do that. I muted me. Let's see. Mute all. Okay. Okay. Feel free if you want to say something to unmute yourself, but just like this way, we won't have the background noise. So if you want to speak, please feel free. Okay. The beginning of the Amidah is the same regardless. 7 days a week, holidays, festivals, morning service, afternoon service, evening service. The beginning part is the same, and the ending part is the same. The middle is the part that changes. And what the part that we're going to deal with that talking about changes, the Kedusha, the part that we do together, the second bracha, that is different for Shacharit and Musaf. So since we're in Musaf now, we'll do that, but then later on, we'll go back and do the Shacharit one. The middle of the Amidah is much longer on weekdays than it is on Shabbat and festivals. Amidah is the standing prayer. That's what it comes from. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about the Shemona Esrei, which is 18. It's supposed to be 18 blessings. It's really not 18, it's 19, but they kept the name Shemona Esrei. Just so if you ever hear it, you'll know what they're talking about. It's also called the prayer. When people talk about just one prayer, oftentimes we'll think of the Shema, but actually the rabbis always thought of the Amidah. That was the central prayer. Okay, so we're going to start in the red Lev Shalem. Let me just turn to the Lev Shalem 156. So I can see what it looks like. Okay, and the Slim Shalom, it starts at the top of the page, and the other one in the red book, it's actually both of them start at the top of the page. You'll see the small printing on after in the beginning, after on the Slim Shalom, it says Amidah Musaf L'Shabbat. Okay, and on the other one it also say Musaf L'Shabbat Amidah, and then under that it's I'll think of what the English word is. It's something to say, you said the first line, not before the actual Amidah starts, there's a line sort of to get in the mood. And you can read in the English, you don't even have to read in the Hebrew. As I proclaim the name Adonai, give glory to God. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may speak your praise. It's sort of an intention to get ready for the Amidah. And during that time period, when you say that, if you say it, or even if you don't say it, you step forward 3 steps. We're talking about choreography. You step forward 3 steps as if you are approaching God. You're approaching a king or a queen or the leader. You go step forward, but you don't want to be too forward, so you step back 3 steps. And then you begin the actual Amidah. In the red book, it has it next to each other, the patriarchs and the matriarchs. In the Slim Shalom, it has A and B. We will do B for the people that are using the Slim Shalom. We're going to include the Imahot, the mothers. We talk about the ancestors rather than our forefathers. We talk about our ancestors. And in the red book, we'll do the one that includes the matriarchs. It's on the with patriarchs and matriarchs. Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit, and then we'll take turns. And you can see also that I forgot when you're talking about the choreography. If you have the Lev Shalem, it shows you the bowing, the little red figure in the beginning. If anybody has that book, you'll see when you Baruch, you bend your knee, bow, and then you get up. And you should always be up on Adonai, because you should be standing tall when you say Adonai. And that's with any prayer. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech. I'm reading the bracha, not this. Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov. Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. The Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor, Bahanora, El Elyon. Gomel, Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher, Hastei Avot, Umevi Goel, Livnei V'nehem, Lama'an Shemo, V'a'ahava. Okay. I didn't read the Imoteno because I don't do that in my shul, and I don't know anyone that does. If you do, fine. We don't read that. We read the women's names, but don't say Imoteno, which is the mothers. Okay. Any questions about any of those words or what we're talking about here? Okay. We start by saying it's our God. Okay, in the first person plural. Then we go and we narrow a little bit more, and we say it's the God of our ancestors, our forefathers and foremothers. And then we make it even more specific and say Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, etc., etc. Then it's back down to the individual, because God for each individual, each group of people is a different feeling. It's the same entity, but we relate differently. And so it's telling us that's okay. And we should know that. Okay. I think that's it. Can I get anybody to volunteer to read? Okay, Arlene. Today is easy. I want Arlene, then Andrea. We don't have Arlene Fisher because she had another appointment. So now we only have one Arlene. So I could just say Arlene.
So this is at the top. I was following. It's the top of 156B.
Yes, Baruch. It starts with Baruch.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Velohe le'ach
Good.
ha'el hagi
No, look at the vowel.
do
Yes,
gadol hagibor
good,
viha nora
perfect,
elyon
good,
go male hasarim
no, look
to
again,
hasadim
good,
tovim vikone hakol so hair
good,
has day
good,
avot
yes,
ume v
good,
goel livnei v'nehem le'ma'an shemo be'achava.
good, great. I didn't realize it's all one sentence.
It was a mouthful. I didn't know where to stop. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, don't be sorry. There was no way to stop you. I was going to do one sentence, but that is one. You know what? My English teacher would have said that's a run-on sentence. It is a very long sentence.
In Latin, you have Cicero, Cicero, and he never had any punctuation anywhere either. None, zero. Okay. Thank you.
Great. So, but that was great. It was perfect. And you hit a little bit, which you corrected yourself on some of the problems that we all have with the Dalet and the Resh and the A sound. But any questions? Did it make sense to everybody? Okay, fabulous. That was really wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're not going to do Shabbat Shuvah. That won't come around until next year again. Now I have a very short one, Andrea. You can read the short one, but then I'm going to ask you to do more. We turn the page in the Lev Shalem, it's 186. If you're in the Sim Shalom, you could stay on the same page. It has more on the page than the Lev Shalem. Okay, so we're Melech Ozer. I'm gonna read it first. Melech Ozer Ufoked Umoshia Umagen Baruch Ata Adonai Magen Abraham Ufoked Sarah. And you see the bending again. You bow. It's the bowing sign where it says Baruch Ata Adonai. We bow again for people that have this Sim Shalom and it doesn't show it in that. In the Lev Shalom, it does show somebody bowing at where it's Baruch Ata Adonai. Magen Avraham Ufoked Sarah. Okay. Andrea.
Melech Ozer u
The F sound.
what? Ufakad?
Foked.
Foked. Ufoked. Moshia.
Good. But remember, I'm just going to, only because you guys are reading too well to let anything slip by. Remember the metek. The accent is not on Moshiach, it's Moshia. The accent is on the next to the last syllable.
Okay. Moshia.
Yeah.
Magen.
Good.
Baruch Ata Adonai Magen Avraham Ufaked Sarah.
Good. Good. It's the same sentence, really, almost. If you look at it, just step back. Okay. See? Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Makes it
Good.
easier than we think it is sometimes. Okay. Okay, we
Yeah.
continue. Any questions? Okay. We're going to keep going. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai mechaye metim ata Rav Hoshia. Moshe. Oh, now we are into, this is small, but this we are reading now. We're in the time period of Mashiach, Mashiach Haruach O Morid Hagashem. We're asking for the wind and the rain. We might not want rain now here, but when we pray for Israel, and they need the rain because they're not going to get rain in the summer, and if they don't have it, it's sort of like California. I think they need to do this prayer a little bit more, and they should do it year round. That we're asking for rain in Israel so that the crops will grow. This is the part that we all sing together, whether you're doing it together. Okay, one more thing. I'm going to skip this. When we do Musaf, normal in many shuls, we do the first part. You can repeat it, first of all. Some shuls will do the whole thing silently, and then they'll do the whole thing out loud. And we do the first part, including everything we've done so far, until the Kedusha, which we're not get to yet. The leader, the Shaliach Tzibur, will do it, and then we all join in when we get to the Kedusha. But we actually join in Machal Kel, which is why I said it. If you're not repeating, for the Shacharit Amidah, you do the first part together through the Kedusha, and then do the rest silently. And Musaf, you don't do it together until Kedusha. So this is just very complicated, but just to put in your head a little bit, it will be whoever is the Shaliach Tzibur, the rabbi actually, not necessarily the Shaliach Tzibur, will tell you what to do. But just so you know, in Shacharit, you can start, if you're not doing it silently, you start together. In Musaf, you don't go in until the Kedusha. Okay. Let's see. I say that because it's, I said, okay, Mashiach Baruch. I'm going to just, Mechal Kel, Chaim, Chesed. Chesed, see, I did it. Mechaye Hametim, Berachamim, Rabim, Somech, Noflim, Berofe, Cholim, Umatir, Asurim, Umkayem, Emunato, Lishene Afar, Mi Chamocha, Baal, Givurot, Umi Domelach, Melech Memit, Umchaye, Umatmiach, Yeshua, V'ne'aman Ata Lahachayot Metim, Baruch Ata Adonai Mechaye HaMetim. That part is a little weird, and people may sometimes bring it up. It's talking about bringing the dead back to life. They thought this. So it's talking about, we do actually believe in an afterlife. We don't talk about it much. The difference between most Jews and, for instance, particular Catholics is we believe there's something afterwards, but we figure if we behave ourselves and do good things in this life, that will take care of itself, and we don't talk about it and we don't worry about it. Catholics are much more focused on the afterlife. It's not something that we figure it will take care of itself. So we don't, and we don't know. So, and we don't like to talk about things we don't know. So it's not a big part of our philosophy. Okay. Do I have anybody that would like to read? Just take a chance reading a little bit.
I'll try.
Karen, thank you. You're not Karen.
Oh, I'm Marlene. Okay, yeah. I mean, Charleston. I don't have my prayer book with me, so I was pulling it up online.
I know you're Marlene. Yes, Marlene.
Sorry. Are we starting at Ata Gibor?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, I don't have my prayer book, so I had to pull it up online. The Amidah prayer. Okay.
Okay.
Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai Michye.
Yeah, read it again. Look at the vowels.
Michaye.
Good.
Michaye Metim Ata Rav. Okay, hold on a second. Lihoshliach.
Shia, exactly.
Lehoshia, okay. And then there's the summer, winter. What did you say?
Lehoshia.
Lehoshia, okay.
Good.
Micha,
Mashiv. No, it should say Mashiv. I don't know where it says from Shmini Atzeret till Pesach, basically the
Okay.
winter. Just
hold
because
on.
I want you to
Mashiv,
do it because you're going to be doing it.
Mashiv haruach umorid ha-geshem.
Gashem, good. See
Gashem,
the next again? Gashem.
Gashem.
I'm
Okay,
learning so much. Okay, good. A little bit more.
okay. Michael Hayim.
You read it right the first time. Read it again. Look at the vowels. You read it right the first time.
Michael Kyle.
Kel.
Michael
Good.
Kel Hayim Bechesed.
Yes,
Michael.
you can sing. If you want to sing it, you can sing it.
I'll just do it. Michaye Matim.
No, look again. You have to be careful with the vowels. Because May team. Because the vowels actually, even like you can say in the Torah, there are no vowels, and like in the newspaper, there are no vowels. But that's because the people know what they're supposed to be. If you've ever done the game of putting English words, and taking out the vowels and seeing if you can read it. Generally speaking, you can. But the vowels do make a difference in what it means. A change of vowel could be a different word. So
no,
we do have
absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right.
To be careful about the vowels. Okay, that's all I just wanted.
No, I appreciate it. Mechaye.
Yeah.
Me team.
Good.
Ba Rahamim Rabim.
Perfect.
Do you want me to stop or continue?
Read one more line.
So mech no fleam.
Good.
Virofe koliim umatir asurim.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, everybody got it?
Want me to stop? Okay.
If you want, just so we know what we're talking about, I mentioned that it says that they're going to bring the dead back to life, but it also says Tomech no flim no fellet means to fall. He brings up the fallen. Rofei cholim, we talk about refuah shlema. The refuah is to heal. Cholim are the sick, and umatir asurim, who loosens the chains of unbound, is what it says, but it frees people. We're talking about all the things that God does for us. It's really a praise prayer, and really the blessings of God, and that's one of the reasons that is the prayer. Okay, somebody else want to jump in? Kayem. Celia, I see your hand.
Kayem. Is that 3 dots?
Yes, it's 3. Yes.
Nato.
Umunato, good. Amunato, I should say. I'm sorry.
Li Shane.
Ine, good.
Far.
Good.
Mi Kamoka. Ba El. Go.
The same vowel, same line, Baal.
Baal. Go. Vo. Wrote. Uri. Do. Me.
Good.
Lock.
Good, perfect. Lock. Because the 2 dots are the vowel, it's not the dot that makes it a K sound. So it's umadoma lock. Good.
Melech. Meimich. Ha. Ye. Za. Me. Can't see what it is.
Remember, we talked about it last week. It's not a Z, it's a TS.
It's a T. Yes.
It's like mitz, matz, Miach,
Umatzmiach.
like matzah. I mean, that's not the
Umatzmiach.
word, but the sound. Yeah.
Umatzmiach. Yish. Um. Oh, Yeshua.
Yeshua. Good. Okay. Does somebody else want to read the last two lines? That's easy. And then we'll turn the page. It's not easy. I shouldn't say it's easy, but it's short. Jane, you want to be brave and read the last two lines? I see you moving a little bit. Just the last two lines. And I'll help.
All right. From me, from there, or
Read the next line because that you only read on Shabbat Shuvah,
Oh,
which
right,
is
okay.
the Shabbos in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So we're not going to read that.
Okay, so it's hey ah.
Did I read this? Did I read this yet first? Let me read it first, and then you can read Jane. V'ne'eman ata lahachayot metim baruch ata Adonai mechaye hametim. Good. Okay, now Jane.
Okay. Hey mar
No,
ata
start again. V'ne'eman.
vene amar ata
No.
lahaya.
No, you're not paying attention. I know you can do this. It's we look at the letters and just sound it out. It's ata le. I'm gonna sound it out for you and just look at it. Le ha chayot. You see it? Le ha chayot.
Lahayot
Good.
mehim.
Team. Okay. It's
Metim.
the same letter that ended the word before. That's why I want you to recognize it, okay? It's the hachayot metim. It's that same letter.
Lahayot mehetim.
Good. Now the next one. Yeah.
Baruch Adonai mehayit.
Yay. Good.
Yay.
Yep.
Hametim.
Good. Exactly. Okay. But if you look and recognize. No, do you really have to look? Like the word above hametim is metim, the same word. So you can see if you really look and see it, then you can eventually. Yes, Cindy, you had a question.
So I notice in this prayer, sometimes Adonai has vowels and sometimes it doesn't. Is there any significance to that?
Okay. Okay. Tell me where it does have vowels. I'm looking.
okay,
Oh, I know. The beginning. Ata Gibor la Adonai. Okay. Because Adonai is our Lord. Okay. It's Adonai is a title. But Yud He Vav He is his name. So when it's the Yud He Vav He, that's his name, and that it doesn't have. Like, do you understand what I mean? There are many. Elohim is another name for God. Okay, Elohim and Adonai have vowels. Yud He Vav He. We don't know how to pronounce it, so we pronounce it Adonai, but it's another word altogether. That's actually God's name. That's the one where some people will say Hashem when it's Yud He Vav He. Okay. It's like, I personally, I don't think God, G-O-D, is God's name. So I never write G-D. I write G-O-D. In the same way as I put the vowels with Adonai and Elohim, I would write G-O-D. But Yud He Vav He is really his name. And that's the one you don't. So that's one that doesn't have vowels.
Okay.
You get it, or am I clear? I don't know.
That's fine. Thank you.
What's Metim, Judy?
Yes, dead.
That is death, Metim?
Yeah, dead. Yeah. Mate, you see, sometimes when they do a notice that somebody died, they'll say Hadayan Ha'emet, the judge of death. You know, they'll say that'll be on the top. Baruch Hadayan Ha'emet. Blessed is the Lord, that whatever, and that will be the thing. Yeah, that's what it is. Dead people, dead. Okay, and we have this. That's part of life, obviously, and they talk about as the rabbis talk about everything. Okay. Any questions about that part? Okay, we're going to go on a little bit and do a little bit of the Kedusha then. This is the part we do out loud. If we're as the congregation, but it's a lot of repeating, and some of the stuff we do silently and some we do out loud. Depends on your place. Some places the first 2 lines, you just have to turn the page, by the way, wherever you are, and it'll say Kedusha at the top. The first 2 lines will be done silently or out loud by the congregation, and then it's out loud by the Shliach Tzibur. So anyway, I'm going to read Na'aritzacha v'nakdishacha, I'm trying to pronounce it, Kesod Siach Sarfe Kodesh Hamakdishim Shimcha Bakodesh Kakatu Ayad Niviecha V'karazeh Elzeh V'amar. Okay. And I don't want you to know everything, but when you, like, if you see V'nakdishacha, if you look carefully, you'll see the root of Kodesh or Kadesh. You'll see that in there, okay? Sanctifying is the way they translate it. So kasod is well, I'm not going to go into that. Okay, and Kodesh again, you'll see, because you'll see that a lot in the prayers. And Makdishim, sorry, is another one. You can see the Kodesh in there too. All of those words, it's different forms of the same word, the same root. Okay, so you're really, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about, this is the Kedusha. So you've got a lot of that Kadosh in it. Okay, and then you're going to do it again. Then we go, and I'll just, since this is not so bad, then we go on our tiptoes. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. It's supposedly an imitation of the angels on high. That's how they would said that and I forget where it is, but to God. Then this is what they got up on their toes, and that's why we do that too. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzebaot, Melo Kol Haaretz Kevodo. Okay. Kavod is honor. That's why sometimes you say to people, Kol HaKavod, if they did something good, if they, if they did a good sermon, whatever, Kol HaKavod, it's all the honor because you did did a great job. Or you could say Asher Koach also, but Kol HaKavod is another appropriate phrase to say to somebody. Okay. Do I have anybody that's willing to read? Lynette, and then Celia.
Tishbecha unko shia
No, we're starting at the top. Na'aritzacha.
na'arisaka benak dishshacha
Good.
bezod
What was that?
besod
Good.
shiach.
No, where's the dot?
Oh, siach
Good.
sarfe
Good.
kodesh
Good.
mad dishim.
Good.
Dishim.
Dishim, exactly.
Mhm.
Makdishim. If you quickly look at a word, and that's what I used to do when I didn't realize the left and the right. You'll be able to tell. It's Kodesh because Kodesh, and so you see it's in the same. It's in the same place. And the right is sh. Okay, what? A little more.
Simcha va kadesh.
No, look at the vowels. There's a dot on top. Kodesh.
Kodesh.
Good.
Babat Tov.
No, look again. It's not that now. Good. I'm glad you got to this. This is another letter that.
Babatu.
Right. Exactly.
Two.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Al Yad.
Good.
Na Viecha.
Good.
Vikad. Vikad.
Ra.
Da.
Ra. Good.
Vidat Ra. A L.
Zeh. Zeh. The Zion.
Zeh. El Zeh.
Good.
Va'amar.
Good. Good. You recognize that was the same word. Great. Katuv al yad neviacha. We talk about also when we talk about the commandments was about al yad Moshe when we sing when you show the Torah that it's by the finger of, by the hand of. Yad is hand, finger. What you use the yad to keep your place in the Torah. Okay. And neviecha. Does anybody know? If you take away the cha, because we know that's a suffix, you have a word there. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with something we read after the Torah reading. We read from the Haftarot, but who wrote the Haftarot? Who wrote what we're reading during the Haftarah? Does anybody know? I'll give you a hint. Isaiah.
Prophets.
Thank you, prophets. Exactly right. We talk about the prophets or Navi'im. Okay, Navi is somebody who's a prophet in his time who was a Navi. Just an easy word that it would be nice to know. Okay. All right, so somebody else, Kadosh.
It was me.
Yes, please.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Zavot, Melo, Kol Ha'oretz Kevodo.
Perfect, except for the chol rather than kol. Okay, it's not such a big deal, but you should know that there is a difference. We talked about the
Yeah.
dots that make a difference and the dots that don't make a difference. That dot makes a difference. Without it, it's a ch sound. With it, it's a k sound. So that's perfect, though. Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Adonai Tzevaot Melo Chol Haaretz Kavodo. Okay, a little bit more. Kavodo Malay Olam. Mashar Tav Sho Alim Zeh Lezeh Aye Makom Kavodo Leumatam Baruch Yomeru Baruch Kavod Adonai Mimkomo. Okay. Somebody else now. Oh, come on. One of you guys are going to be brave. Cindy, thank you. And then Andrea after, I'll remember. Cindy.
Okay. Thank you. Kivodo, Male, or is it Male?
Malay. Malay.
Male, okay.
Not ever it can be la Malay if you feel better, or Malay, but it's the two dots.
Okay. Olam, Mishar, Tav,
Good.
Alim,
Good.
Zeh, Lazeh,
Good.
Aye, Mikod, Mikod.
Miko what?
Mikom.
Good.
Kivodo,
Good.
Leumatam,
Good.
Baruch, Yomer,
Yomeru. Good.
Yomeru.
Right, because we have the accent on the A. Okay.
Keep going.
Can you read the next line?
Sure. Baruch, Kavod, Adonai, Mim Ko Mo.
Perfect. If you're in the Lev Shalem, when the things are bold. Those are the things we do out loud. It does not have that in the, and let me see if it has it in the other. Oh, it's in the other one too. It's also in the Sim Shalom. The bold ones, bold lines are the lines we do out loud. And sometimes they will also sing some of the other ones. Sometimes it'll be silent, and sometimes the Shleich board does all of them. But like Kadosh, 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 we'll do it first, and then the Shleich board will do it. It's just coming. When you go, you'll see, and you do what everybody else does. Okay. Yeah.
Quick question. Quick question. That's mean.
Or Jane and Cindy, since she unmuted already. Jane, yes.
I'm sorry, but on that last line with the Baruch, the last word is meme.
Yes.
Como.
Good. Yes,
Aha.
there's a lot of mems.
Yeah.
3 mems.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Cindy,
Kadosh, don't we rise like
I
off our
said
feet?
that. I did say that, I think, but
Okay.
yes, we do. We do. We go 3 on each of the words. We lift our, get up on our toes or lift our heels or however you want to say it. Yes, on the Kadosh 3 times. Yes, exactly right. Good. Okay.
Mimo como.
Meme como.
Mim como.
Good. Oh, I didn't read this one yet. Let me read it first, okay? Let me read it first, yeah, okay?
Yep.
Just to make it a little bit easier, and I that was the request from Mim Como, Hu Yifen, Barachamim, V'Yachon, Ham Yachadim, Shemo, Erev, V'Voker, B'chol, Yom, Tamid, Pa'amayim, Ba'ahava, Shema, Omrim. Okay. Now,
Oh my gosh,
Andrea.
tongue twister. Okay.
Say it out. You don't have to be perfect. We're not asking.
Mim como.
Good.
Haya.
No. Mim. What's the next word? Mim como is perfect. Now, what's the next one?
Mim como.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Good. Who? Good.
Oh, okay. I don't know what I was saying for.
I don't know where the other one came from. Yes.
I don't know. Yifan.
Yifen.
Yifen.
Good.
Barchamim. The
Yeah.
Achim.
Chon. The Yachon. It has a dot on the top.
The
Good.
Yachon.
Good.
Hama.
There's a yud there. Don't forget about the yud. Ham yachadim. It said you're right. They're a little hard, but when the yud has a vowel with it, it's a consonant. So it's ham yachadim.
Hama Yakadim. Shemo. Rav.
Erev.
Erev.
Good. So remember the dot on the top is an O. It doesn't have the line underneath, but it's an O. Vavoker.
Vavoker.
Good.
Okay. Bachal.
Oh.
Bachol.
Good.
Yom. Tam.
Yes.
Me.
Yes. Good. Yes.
Me.
No, but remember the yud? Do
There's
it again.
another one. Okay, another sound.
Right.
Ka. Mayim.
Good.
Is that water? No.
No, mayim is water, but it's not. This is not water. It's pa'am is the root, not mayim.
Oh,
But-
okay.
The right idea.
Mm,
But you know
Thank
the
you.
next word.
I do.
Yes, you do.
Ba, va.
Do you know
Sha,
ahava? Ahava,
ava. Love.
right? We have the ahava
Ava.
from Israel. There's a famous stamp, like the love stamp. It has ahava, the 4 letters.
Oh, I took a lot of pictures there. Okay, the statue.
Same
Ba,
word. Yeah, thank you. Good. Okay, ba'ahava.
That's
2 more
amazing.
words.
Shama,
Good, Shema.
Omarim.
Omrim. Good. 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 Good.
Omrim.
Good. Good. Okay.
Omrim.
Yeah. Okay. But when we're reading it, now we're trying to sound it out, and I get that, and that's good, and that's fine. But we talk about Erev Avoker, morning and evening. We do that a lot in Breshit when we're talking about it was morning and it was evening on the first day, on the second day. Erev Avoker, Bechol, Yom Tamid, and all days. Okay. Tamid is ever. You have what? Do we have another? We have something in the shul that is part of the name of it is Tamid, and I'll give you a hint. It's on the. Thank you, Karen. Karen, I'm Marlene. Marlene,
Ner,
yes.
Ner Tamid is perpetual or forever. Ner is light. Candle.
Thank So that's just so you know when you see the Ner Tamid, you can know what that means, and you can read the word and know. Yes, and that's what I was looking for. Okay. Now I want somebody to read. Maybe I'm going to read it, and then somebody else is going to read it that hasn't read yet today, because I know you can read this line, but I want you to sound it out and really read it. But I'm going to, Celia, you want to do it? Okay, so I'm going to read it first, and then you're going to read
I
it.
can read it without you.
You can read it without me. Okay,
Mhm.
Celia, show
Shema
off. Yes.
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Thank you, Celia. The only thing I would say is if we're reading in Ashkenaz and Sephardic Hebrew, it should be Adonai, not Adonai. And in Ashkenazic Hebrew, it would be Adonai because it would be the O sound followed by the Yud. But because when we have that T, we say it should be Adonai. But very nice, Celia. You showed off well. You were not too presumptuous. Anybody else have any comments, questions? Yes, Cindy.
I lost my signal for a couple minutes, so I don't know where we're at.
Okay, we just read the Shema. Not the Shema, but the line Shema Yisrael.
Which page are we on, please?
We're in the Kedusha. You lost it for a long time. I didn't notice that. I apologize. We're in the middle of the Kedusha, which follows the part we started with, the second or third page of the Amidah. And it should say the Kedusha at the top of the page in Hebrew and
Yeah, I
English.
am. I just didn't know. What line are we on now?
Yeah. We were on the Shema, which is about halfway through. It should be bolded in your book. Got it, Cindy?
Yes, I'm there. Thank you.
Great. Any other comments, questions? This is partly why I don't want to share the screen, and I ask you to use your Sidurim for 2 reasons. One is that this way you'll know when you're davening what it looks like, and the other so I can see you. And if I share the screen, I won't be able to see anybody. So
What page are we on Lev Shalem?
187.
Thank you.
Okay, these are hard. There are some hard words. This is not something we do all the time. I feel like the beginning part, some of the words were of the Nida are the things we read a little bit more, but it's hard. But I think it's worth going over because this is something that we do 3 times a day. And we do it every day, whether it's Shabbos or Yontif or weekdays. And I think and it is the prayer. I feel like we have an obligation to at least be a little bit comfortable with it. I'm not going to do, we may stop now and do something else, but we're not going to do the part that we read silently. because that's up to you. I think it's not a priority at this point. You can either read the Hebrew or the English when you're doing silent reading. Right now, I feel like the priority is to do the stuff that we do out loud, so that we feel like we can participate in the service. So anyway, so that's where I'm coming from. We have 5 minutes. Anybody? I'm hesitant to continue. Anybody have any questions? For next week, well, just to say, we will continue a little bit with Amidah. We haven't finished the Kedusha. And we will, I think, may start again at the beginning of the Amidah and go through the Kedusha. After that, we get to the Ashrei. Our class actually is supposed to only be one more class. So for people that want to drop, to find other things that they have obligation to, that's fine after next week. But I would be willing to continue. I was thinking, but I would be more than happy to listen to suggestions of maybe doing Birkat Hamazon, if people would like to do that. I think that if we can get comfortable with it, I think you can even actually lead it yourself, because there's a lot of stuff that people do together. There is some that you would do alone, but I think you could, if you get comfortable enough, that any of you could do that, and I think that'd be wonderful. Or I'm hoping that maybe even at the convention or at a conference, if you go to a Wednesday conference, you do Birkat Hamazon, you could feel like we could be hotshots and lead, or at least certainly participate. So that was one of the things I thought of. Anything else? Yes, Andrea, unmute yourself if you're going to speak.
That is my vote, the Birkat Hamazon.
Yeah, I think it sounds great
The
too.
prayer.
Is it in our book, or where is it?
We received it. Sorry.
Yes.
We received, some of us received a copy of it, a laminated copy of it from Women's League, and that was in the adult bat mitzvah class. I have one in my adult bat mitzvah class folder.
If any of you, it's in 2 places that I can tell you. The problem is, 2, 3 things. We're going to do the abbreviated one, not the long one. I think we can do that one first. If someone someday wants to do the long one, we can certainly do that, but I would like to start with the abbreviated one. It is on the card. There's a laminated card, a trifold, actually, that's available from Women's League, from United Synagogue. It is also, if you have the Women's League directory, a calendar diary, I should say, not directory, calendar diary, from any year, from the last 5 years at least, it will have it in the back of the book. I had in my mind that maybe I would try to order them for everybody. But if you don't have it, let me know, and then we can see if we can get you one. Because it would be good if we were all on the same page. And the short version in particular, the reason I mentioned that is it's different in different versions. Like if you have the B'Kol Echad, which is the book that has all the songs in it that you use in USY or Ramah or whatever, there's a long version and a short version, but it's a little different. So I'd like us all to be on the same page. Yes, Marlene.
I'm sorry, I have a question. So next week in our regularly scheduled lesson, we're going to return to the Amidah and the Kedusha. Are we going to put the tune with it as opposed to just the words or both? I mean, because
we should try that.
I'm sorry. Sure. I mean, I didn't want to interrupt with your teaching method, but for me, actually,
it's easier singing. There's no question. It's much easier singing.
No, but you're right. You have to learn the words. But for me, sometimes
it's much easier singing. The tricky part, and it depends on what the priority is, and that's okay. First of all, my one problem is I'm very bad with singing, and also I memorizing. Like there are 2 different tunes. There's a different tune for weekday and Shabbat, and I sometimes get them confused. One of the reasons I don't like to lead. Plus, there is another Kedusha that is different in the Shacharit Amidah, which we have not done. It's not that different, but I'd like to at least look at that also. But I'll try. We'll try to sing. If you would like to sing, we'll try. I'll let you
happy
sing.
to-
How's that, Marlene? How do you sing?
I'd be happy to sing if you could overlay your perfect Hebrew, because this is a problem for those of us that have musical background. I can follow the tune and the melody, and that's moving me forward, and the people around me are going fast. But the Hebrew, I have to
But
basic.
I
So
think that's
yeah.
easier. I do think it's easier to sing, though. I think if you have a confidence, a partway confidence with the reading, and you sing it, it sings easier than reading. Even I
Okay.
sometimes when I'm trying to read each word, I will stumble a little bit. Whereas when you're singing, it just sort of comes. And with anything, with any prayer, it's that way. With that song, even a song, if you would read it, I'm sure it would be harder to read than it is in English than sing it. So yes, sure.
And
We'll try.
did we? I know I missed a class last week, but did you
Yes.
guys go over the Barco? We did that 2 weeks ago. The Barco, the Aliyah prayer before
We
the.
did do it a few weeks ago. I'm willing to do it again if people want to do it again.
No,
we
no,
can
I
do
was
that.
there. That was there. I was trying to figure out. Oh, you did Hallel. You did
Yes,
Hallel
was
last
last
week.
That
Okay,
was
because
last week.
I was trying
Yeah.
to figure out what happened last week.
Yeah, last
Okay.
week was Hallel. Yeah.
Thank-
Yes, Barbara, I think you had a question. No.
No, you were talking about the singing, but those of us that attend services before we could read well, and us, we were singing some of the wrong words, so to speak. So now I can read it and it's better. So it's
Good.
it's good.
Thank you. Yes.
And I will need a short copy of the Barco.
Okay.
Is there a link? Could you send a link? of
Yeah,
that?
send a link. Yeah.
Yeah, because
What?
I'd like also, if you
Where am
could,
I sending a link to? Tell me.
so on a link, I'll print it.
Well, and for the Barco, I mean, I guess
Are we talking about the Barco or the Birkat Hamazon?
I'm
You're
sorry.
getting me.
I'm going back.
I'm
I'm
at
going
the
back to the
Barco.
Barco, which is 2 weeks, 2 lessons ago. Obviously, there's what the leader does in the congregation, and you have to remember to repeat. And it doesn't necessarily. So anyway, having the tune in the process is helpful for when you get up there, because the words to me.
Rather than saying Barco, because who somebody that goes to services and there's another time we do Barco.
Okay, then there's the Aliyah, the
You're talking
Aliyah
about
prayer,
Right.
the
And
Aliyah
that's-
prayer.
Just for an aside, well, 1 minute. We actually do the Barco. It's the introduction to where we start the regular service rather than the introductory part. And we do Barco. And if you don't have a minion, you can't do that. That's one of the prayers you can't do if you don't have a minion. But if you have a minion, by the time you have the Torah service, and it's a day that you have Torah service, you've done the Barco, so you don't have to go back. If you haven't, if you've ever been to some place where they have it, they will go back and say the Barco at the end of the service because they didn't say it earlier. But if you've done it because you do, it's the same thing that you do when you have an Aliyah. Well, we can't go over the Aliyah again because I think that's something that's really important for all of us to be comfortable, to be able to be called to the Torah. And that's not so much Hebrew, and it's not so long, and we should all feel comfortable getting called to the Torah. So we will definitely do that again. I think honestly, for us, I think that's the most important thing, to be able to do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm so glad, because I'll never forget, like 15 years ago when I was at Addith, and I was asked by the rabbi at the time if I would do an Aliyah prayer, and I totally freaked out because I realized that I didn't know the words obviously well, but I didn't know the tune, and everybody kind of looked at me because I grew up unaffiliated, like they didn't say it, but it was like
we all of us, each of us can do this if we put some work into it.
Okay.
And I think it's important for us to be able to do. Thank you very much, Marlene. And Barbara and Arlene, you were talking about Birkat Hamazon, I think.
Yes.
Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to actually see if maybe I can even bother Julia and ask her if she'll send it out, and that way we can all have the same whatever it is, and even be able to refer to the page and whatever. So I will. Yeah. Yes, Cindy.
I just wanted to add, it was really nice how you explained the Hanukkah service last week and with the 3 Torahs and Hallel. And I really felt like I could follow along in the service.
Right,
I knew what was going on. That was really nice.
Yes,
Thank
it
you,
was.
Cindy. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
I think we've all come a long way. Thank you. I think this semester has meant a lot. But just because this is the penultimate, I learned that class. If people want to, this class was supposed to be, and it really wasn't given much guidance as what this actually meant. It was supposed to be advanced beginner. If somebody feels that they want this class, this class was really practicing reading and being able to sound out words, which I think most of us are comfortable with, some are more than others. If you feel like you want to take this class again, please call a vote. There is, according to Women's League, a next class, which is advanced class. I'm not exactly sure what they do. But when notice is given, I think everyone will know about it. But let me know if you feel like you want to repeat, and I will make sure that somebody knows, or if you want to continue. As soon as we know, I'll let you know, but just something to think about for the future, because there will be a new semester, I think, in February. Yes. And I
So a quick question, as long as we're all here, I don't know how many people are going to be here again next week.
Yeah.
Did we already determine how many people, can I ask you to ask the class, how many people in this class are in the adult bat mitzvah class as well?
No, we did not. If you want to name it, raise your hand if you are, either virtually or 1, 2. Okay, not too many. Two that are here. There may be others. There are a few other people that aren't.
Arlene Fisher is with us.
Arlene
That's
Fisher, right?
correct.
I think there's 1 or 2 other people that her name left me. Anyway, yeah. So there are a couple of people. So few, I should say, not a couple. A couple is 2.
Thank you for asking that question, because thank
no
you.
problem. Yes, thank you. Any other question? And I will also, please, I will, if I remember, I hope I remember, I'm going to write it down, to send out the link to the Makom B'Yachad. But if you have the message from Women's League, it should be in there. It's actually in there's a lot of blurbs, but it's after the one from Rabbi Ellen Fields gives a commentary, and it's in the next one. It talks about Makom B'Yachad.